When I really think about it, every relationship on this planet is transactional.
Wow.
The real secret sauce to being a very good matchmaker is having an excellent network and a wide network. Being able to put people together and listen to people, listen to feedback, and adjust in the whole process to expedite that for them to find a partner.
Today's guest, Christiana Maxion, the Dubai Matchmaker. Oh, this one's for the guys, or maybe the ladies as well, I don't know.
Men complain that all of the women here are gold diggers. Women complain that all of the men here just want one thing. They're here for a short time, not a long time.
If you are struggling to find a relationship that works for you and you would like a professional organization to help you find the right partner, then Christiana is the person to talk to.
You know what's funny is that most of my clients don't have social media.
Today we're going to discuss her business, the steps that we need to follow so that we can find love and happiness and relationships that work for us.
What I've realized, and also what I hear too, like when you're on a dating app, you're chatting to somebody for weeks. You're building them up in your brain. You're creating this ideal of them rather than actually meeting the real person.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of the podcast. It's really enjoyable having your guys' feedback, but I would love even more. Now, if you don't subscribe, please, whatever platform you consume this on, please subscribe. But more importantly, please leave me some feedback. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think of the show and what I can do to improve it. Because at the end of the day, this platform is to help educate you so that you get the most out of it. And your feedback is critical to me. Right, today's guest, Christiana Maxion, the Dubai Matchmaker. Oh, this one's for the guys, or maybe the ladies as well, I don't know. But if you are struggling to find a relationship that works for you and you would like a professional organization to help you find the right partner, then Christiana is the person to talk to. Today, we're going to discuss her business, the steps that we need to follow so that we can find love and happiness and relationships that work for us. But also, we step into understanding her business, how she raised finance, how that business has grown, and how her clients have really benefited from working with her. So let's get stuck into this episode because I promise you, it's fascinating. And whether you're in a happy relationship or whether you're not, there's stuff to learn about business and love all in one go. So let's talk about the megaverse, the internet of people. Shaping the next iteration of the internet, Megaverse is powered by revolutionary blockchain technology built on decentralized community ownership. It offers users, brands, and businesses a seamless, regulated, and transparent opportunity for growth, revenue, and community building. Megaverse is accelerating user adoption and achieving these goals through multiple verticals like Megachain, a high-performance blockchain for tamper-proof transactions, Megafile system for encrypted decentralized storage, and Mega Studio, which democratizes development through collaborative and AI elements. Organizations across industries like Dubai Multi-Commodities Center, Dubai World Trade Center, and Ras Al Khaimah government have already explored the lucrative potential of a Megaverse presence. Megaverse enables users to create a Web3 future for the people where technology serves human purposes. Dive in and discover the Internet of People with Megaverse today. Christiana, welcome to the show.
Hi, Spencer. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you. And yourself?
Very good.
So, the interesting world of dating.
Yes.
Finding the right partner. Dubai is one of these places where everyone says you can't find the right partner here. It's a bad place to find the right partner. My 24-year-old daughter ended a relationship and just a few months later started a new one. Mm-hmm. And she's found that very easy. I've been here 20 years. I've found partners here. But these people seem to have this attitude of Dubai is a bad place to find a good man or a good woman.
I hate that perspective.
Why is that? Why do they have that approach?
Well, isn't it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like in anything that you think about, like, oh, I'm never going to be able to achieve this, then you won't, right? Or let's say you're stuck in like that constant cycle of you're meeting the same type of person, right? That isn't a good fit for you. Because what I've learned here is that men complain that all of the women here are gold diggers. women complain that all of the men here just want one thing. They're here for a short time, not a long time. But in all honesty, it's like you keep repeating the same cycles, running in the same circles. So of course, you're going to keep getting the same outcome. So it's all about putting yourself in different scenarios, different places, different circles, and then meeting that right person.
Makes sense. What do you think qualifies you to be able to help someone find the love of their life?
So I've always been a connector my entire life, whether that was like connecting people for friendship, connecting people for business, connecting people for romance. Even when I was like 22, I used to like put people together, not because it was like a job or anything, but just because I felt like I had like a natural gift for it. And then, gosh, it just kind of evolved into dating in Dubai and then becoming a matchmaker. And like the real secret sauce to being a very good matchmaker is having an excellent network and a wide network and being able to put people together and listen to people, listen to feedback, and adjust in the whole process to expedite that for them to find a partner.
Okay. It's like a recruitment consultancy, really, isn't it?
Basically.
When you think about it.
It's basically like an executive search before your partner.
Yeah. So instead of your clients aren't the employers, your clients are the guys looking for girls and the girls looking for guys. That's interesting. That's what you are. That's really what it is. You take back all of the psychological stuff we're going to go through. That's really what it is.
I always say that, yeah.
So talk to me about the business side of it. Because I'd like to know more about that. Okay. So let's go through the process of making sure that everyone can understand what's involved in working with a company like yours. I mean, at the end of the day, I've heard you say on other podcasts that your job's to service men.
Correct.
That's really
more than one way. No,
I couldn't have said that. I couldn't have said that.
Spencer, this isn't that kind of podcast, okay?
It's never been that kind of podcast. But your job is to help men find solutions. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
I can't believe I said that. And it won't be edited out either. But, so your job is essentially to help men find relationships.
Yes.
So for me, as a business, let's look at that business model, okay? Let's not look at that man looking for a partner. Let's look at the business model behind it. So first of all, you charge a fee for your service.
Yes.
Okay. And so if I was to come to you and say, hey, okay, I'm a workaholic, I've been divorced, the kids are grown up, I've got a Labrador and, my weekends are getting empty now because, I've had a couple of exits of my businesses and I'm just, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm kind of lonely, okay? It'd be nice to be with somebody. You're going to go through, which I know, which is a 4-stage process, which is you onboarding somebody. I know that. I want to get past that bit. How much is it going to cost me? How much money do I need to give you?
You want to work with me, it starts at $65,000 US and goes up to $250,000 US. And that's like 5 months to 8 months of work.
Okay. And so if I give you between $65,000 and $250,000, which are vastly different sums.
Very.
Okay. What am I going to get for my money?
Yeah. So $65,000 US is like a typical kind of contract that I work with personally. And that's about 5 months of unlimited matchmaking. Now, the reason why our clients come to us is because they are extremely time poor. They want to expedite the entire process. And what we do is we take out kind of like all of that effort and wasted time in between. Like, let's say you're on a dating app and you're swiping, wasting time talking to people, wasting time having all of like this chatter. We actually are the ones that interview, vet, get you on a date with the right partners, take all that feedback, and then actually expedite that process to find you a partner. But beyond that, what our clients actually pay for us is the whole concierge bit of it, that they just have to show up for the date and give us the feedback. And then we take that on, and then we are able to then find that right partner for them. In terms of the real VIP package, that also includes like unlimited matchmaking. So with that being said, a lot of other matchmakers, they give you like, oh, you get 10 introductions, you get 3 introductions. With us, you can meet as many women as you want, because then that just gives us more feedback and helps us actually find you success in the process.
Okay. And if you need unlimited matchmaking, there's... But do they? Oh, you do.
Wow. Well, what I'll say is everybody gets unlimited. It's really about global search. It's really about how specific your search is, and that is why the prices differ. We have clients who are billionaires. We have clients who are celebrities. We have clients who are very, very Googleable. So those kind of clients, they need a special search. So for example, there are some clients we create a profile for, and then we're able to share that with other members who we're going to put them on dates with. Some clients we have to be so secretive about who they are, and then that becomes more difficult. We have some clients that are searching for women who are blonde hair, blue-eyed, from France, from Germany, willing to convert to Islam. That's a small group of people.
Wow, yeah, very niche.
So that's like a super specific search, which then translates into a higher price package.
And do you really have people that are that specific?
Yes. Literally, yes.
Come on now. German, blonde hair, blue eyes, ready to convert to Islam.
Yeah,
I mean, my goodness. That's
within an age range too.
Yeah.
28 to 31.
With big boobs, all that stuff, yeah. God.
Look, we find it, we do.
So talk to me about business development then.
Yeah.
Okay, understanding you're building a business. I know that we'll talk about the app as well, but as a business of matchmaking, okay, how do you find, again, because you've niched by taking 65 to 250,000, even at your lower end of 65, okay, there's a lot of guys that will go, holy macaroni, that's a lot of money without a guaranteed outcome.
Exactly.
Okay, that's an investment of a certain amount of money that might work. You know, most people that have made good money, they don't want to take risks like that. They want the odds stacked in their favor, don't they? But that's natural.
Most people do, yeah.
Okay, so how do you find these clients? What's your strategy?
Yeah. So I don't find them. They find me. And I get a lot of my clients through word of mouth, through referrals. Like, gosh, I think about back in March, right? I had 3 clients, all from one client that had a success story. And that was in 1 month. And then I have a lot of clients that find success with their partner, then they tell all their friends. If they're women, then they join the database. If they're men, then they come to me and they ask, okay, what can you do for me? And then also we have like packages that start at 25, 35,000, but that's not to work directly with me. That's to work with other people on our team. But yeah, I think that people Google me, they see me in newspapers, they hear me on the radio, hear me on podcasts, hear from friends, and that's how they really reach out.
So they're finding you through their social media search. Yeah. Okay. But which means they're looking not necessarily for you, but they're looking for a solution indirectly anyway.
You know what's funny is that most of my clients don't have social media. I would say probably over 90% of our clients don't have Instagram. They probably don't even have a LinkedIn. So it's a lot of word of mouth, Google searches as well.
I used to fly over 100 flights a year, and a lot of the time it was with British Airways. And in the back of the British Airways magazine was this dating agency.
Oh my God, so cool.
I forgot what it was called, Valentine or something. I think they were based in Miami.
Okay.
And it was always there. Whenever I read through the magazine, in the next month's edition, I read it again. And she was on the inside cover at the back, and it was dating search for high value men type of thing. And I used to think to myself, why does she do it there? Why doesn't she just run Facebook ads and whatnot? But if you're, and Facebook was the thing back then, so not so much now, but yeah, it's like when I look at it, it's interesting for me because as a business model, if you rely on people coming to you, then how do you do projections? How do you write a plan based around that? And at the beginning, it must have started somewhere with you having to do some form of proof of concept, outreach. What was the process to get it off the ground?
Gosh, so I had officially launched in October 2021 here. Before I launched, I had consulted a legal team because I didn't even know if it was legal to be a matchmaker here. So I know a lot of the laws about prostitution and solicitation because of the research that we had to do. I just had to create airtight contracts in order for it to basically be legal in this country. But when I first started, first client I had was through a friend. She was like, hey, a guy who was in crypto. And she was like, he needs help finding a partner. At that time, gosh, my prices were 10,000 dirham for 3 first dates. Like, I think about that, I'm like, wow, I've grown so much. But yeah, he found success with us. He told his friends. At that time, I was like building a network of women because I knew that I wanted to work with men. So I kept hearing men say that all women are gold diggers. And I was like, oh, I hate that because in Dubai, I know so many fabulous women who have amazing careers who are not just seeking that in a partner. So that's why I kind of like I've had that business model from the beginning. But yeah, it was a lot of, I just told like my network. So I was like, do you know anybody who's single who would be interested in a service like this? And I think about Dubai, how people outsource everything, right? Delivery, laundry, lawyer if you have a problem in your business. So I said, why not outsource your love life? And then from there, it was like people were just referring into the company. I had to start increasing my prices because at that point, it was just me on my own. So I think I reached like 25,000 dirham, right, for like 5 first dates. And then I was approached by a global company who said, hey, we've been wanting to expand into the Middle East. Why don't you join our team? But these are the types of men that we work with. These are the types of packages that we have. We'll train you. You'll have access to our network. We can then form kind of like this global conglomerate together. So now it's 7 of us as matchmakers, Sync Matchmaking. I run Middle East and UK. And yeah, because we have over now, I think 50,000 women in our database, and we offer, like, our systems are flawless, we're able to service and basically charge at that higher price.
So for the guy that's in a different country looking for a woman, maybe a guy that's living over here that just wants someone from home.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that kind of guy too. Okay, yeah. So you've been able to increase your prices due to the demand. And it's interesting, you know, this has been a business forever. Yes. Because arranged marriages in India, obviously, and Pakistan and places like that. And I look at that, I'm quite fascinated by this whole understanding, because we've got 56% of marriages end in divorce. So we know that. We also know that people get remarried, a large number get remarried very quickly.
Very true.
We also know that a marriage contract is the single most ridiculous legal contract a man could ever sign in his life. There is not another piece of paper a man will sign. Well, I'll argue in terms of understanding, yes, but in terms of liability, I will argue that for a man, 9 times out of 10, it's the worst decision he could make, signing that piece of paper without understanding what his commitment is to it. In the US, we have prenup agreements which are accepted. In the UK, we don't have that. So
you don't have prenup?
Prenups aren't accepted in the UK.
Oh, okay.
So when you get married in the UK, there's different set of rules around marriage. And the interesting thing is most people never understand their legal contract or their marriage contract until they go to a divorce lawyer. And the divorce lawyer explains it to them and they go, what?
You want to know something interesting? I have a few recent clients who actually said that they don't want to get married.
Yeah.
And what they've said is, I am so happy to do a relationship agreement, like a contract between me and my future partner, but that does not involve marriage on paper. And they're obviously searching for something that's a little more transactional, right? Like, for example, you get this amount of salary. For each child, you get this amount of money. We're going to go on this many vacations. It's more of a transactional thing. But for them, they're saying that they want to protect their legacy. Mm-hmm. And because maybe they have past children from past marriages, other things that they're building in the future, that they're like, I want to make sure that this is black and white on paper.
I don't think that makes sense.
I love a relationship contract. I think it's amazing.
It's a whole load of sense for everybody. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, if you've got, you know, there's also the successful woman to consider as well. There's loads of them out there now, way more than in the past. Women aren't you know, fighting for traditional roles in the way that they were just normalized back so many years ago, particularly when I was young. And so you have these successful women as well that are going to look at these types of contracts. I think I think so many people get sucked up in romance. But we all know the first 2 years of a relationship for most people is amazing, and then it steadily calms from then onwards. And you know, I know probably 2 couples in the world right now that are in their 60s that are both a couple of lovebirds still, and it's almost sickly watching how in love they are, because we're all just jealous that they've been together 40 years and they're still like, oh, she melts my heart. Oh, shut up, you know. But when I look at it, it's like people want to get together. They want to find romance. They want to find partners. They don't want to be alone. I think loneliness is one big driver. And then, but I don't want to get in a situation where I potentially can lose everything. Okay, I lose a lot. You know, I've got 2 daughters from my first marriage, for example. Yeah. My daughters are my world. You know, they're 24 and 22. They can. Everything is for them. Mm-hmm. Like everything. Yeah. Without exception, it is for them. And so I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that they get what's theirs, because it's not for anybody else. And I'm sure many fathers think like that. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it, you have a business and you're growing a business. Marriage, if it's contractual, then in essence it's a business. Why do we have a contract? Okay, we have a contract for if something goes wrong. We don't have a contract for when it goes right.
I mean, I always advise, like, get an ironclad prenup in the beginning. I know there are so many women and men out there who basically have the idea of, well, then that means that you're preparing for the breakup. I'm like, no. It's about being practical, and it's about saying, hey, now everything is lined up. Let's say that that does happen, because like you said, it's over 50% of marriages end up in divorce, right? So if everything is laid out from the beginning, it just makes things easier. In my honest opinion, like, what I would advocate for is a relationship contract. Even if you're not married to this person, I've done this before in the past with a partner, where basically we wrote down the needs that each of us needed in a relationship. We were completely upfront, openly communicative about what we needed, what would make us feel the most loved in that relationship. We revisited it every 3 months. And then after we revisited it twice, so 6 months down the line, we decided to split because we weren't holding up either end of our bargains. And so then that meant that we weren't a good partner for one another. Mm-hmm. And I advocate for that all the time. You should then be renewing that contract.
Marriage contract should last 5 years, mate.
Like a car lease. We got to renew that car now.
Yeah. Is that going to be done? Do you want to continue? Do you want to part exchange it for another model? What do you want?
Exactly. New
But I wonder if there was no guilt or there was no remorse. I wonder how many couples would sit down and go, do you know what? It has been a nice 5 years. Okay. But your snoring drives me mad. Okay, I don't like the way
separate rooms. Then
I don't like the way you eat. Okay, and the way you talk to me when you wake up in the morning or whatever it may be. Those things. It's just like maybe if people had the opportunity every 5 years or whatever that period was to sit down and have a really honest conversation and say, has it actually worked?
I think that the best relationships have transparency. Transparency then goes hand in hand with honesty, goes hand in hand with being able to be open with your partner, communicate in a safe space.
Yeah.
If you don't have like that foundation in a relationship, then there's no way that you can evolve with that person, because then you don't feel safe communicating, I'm not happy here, or having very good conflict resolution with that person in order to find solutions to either move forward or to split.
The interesting part of this conversation is that we're jumping between a business and we're talking about the relationships, but the fact is that's your customer. The person looking for the relationship is your customer. If we were talking about a completely different industry right now, jumping into the customer experience would be part of the business conversation, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like everybody wants to know about this. So you build this small network of people, then you get these guys over in the States that say, hey, come join us. Let's form this partnership and be a global business and let's help each other find people from different parts of the world. How do you recruit women into the business? How do you finance that? How do they finance that as well? Or is there a completely different set of rules for them?
Completely different. So women are free.
I love the way you keep smiling at me.
Am I not allowed to smile?
Yeah, of course you are. Absolutely. I love it. But it's just like, let me tell you about this.
Well, I love what I do.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. The best part about what I do is that you get to create connection for people. And I know you touched upon this before about loneliness. I think that that's the biggest epidemic that we have in our world right now. But back to women joining the database, it's completely free for them to join. All they have to do is complete a profile. And we tell everybody, every age, status, size, shape, whatever, to join our database, because we never know what types of clients we might take on or types of clients that we're currently working with. And because it's free, we literally have like 50 women join like every day. It's crazy, especially because of it's 7 of us. They either hear me on Instagram, they hear Erica on television, they hear Laura, they watch her television show. So and we're constantly tweeting about the different clients that we have, and then people sign up and they're like, oh, I could be a good match for this 6'2" tech billionaire who lives in Texas. Great, let me sign up here. So we're constantly getting new profiles into the database every day.
Why don't people just join Raya?
They could do. Of course, we never discourage people from trying to find love in other ways, because for us, when you do join the database, there is no guarantee of you going on a date, obviously, because...
This is the girls.
The girls, yeah.
Guys got guarantees of...
Oh my God, of course, they're paying us. Could you imagine? Oh, you don't have a guarantee, but just give me your money.
Give us your money. We can't be sure you get laid.
Yeah, maybe.
You might get laid, you might not get laid.
That's not for us to know. That's for you guys to figure out. But yeah, no, of course, the men get guaranteed dates because they are our clients. But the women who join know that. But we always say, throw your hat in the ring. We always say, join every matchmaker's database. You never know, especially if you're a person who's determined to find a partner.
Okay, so I want to make sure we're very clear on this business model.
Go.
So one part of the business, you got this database. So like a recruitment consultancy, candidates, they come in free. There you go, they're on the database. Here we come in, here come the employers looking for future employees. Okay.
Unicorns.
The unicorns, the whatever it may be, the conglomerates, all these people over here are like, we need people. They come to you, you're the recruitment consultancy, we have got the people for you. It's okay, so the girls are the candidates and the guys are the businesses. Mm-hmm. Right, okay, got that. How do you run, okay, projections for the business over the course of a 24-month period to establish where you're going? What's the modeling that you use?
In all honesty, we don't really, because we have an influx of people who apply to be clients, and we're actually quite, not ruthless, but selective in who we choose. So for example, like I said, there's 7 of us, but for me personally, I only take on 5 clients per quarter. So I choose who those 5 clients are out of the pile that we get. Some of them I'll defer to the next quarter. And then some of them I'll just say, you know what, you might not be a good fit for our service. Because we do have some guys that come to us and they're looking for something that we can't provide them.
Like what?
Okay.
I have no idea. So.
I'll tell you. So for example, we had a guy come to us and he was 44 years old, never married before, wanted to start a family. I will only date women who are 18 and 19. We said, no, can't do.
44 would only date 18 and only date kids?
Basically. So we were like, we are not the right service for you. We didn't recommend any other service.
Is there a service on the planet that can service someone like that?
I'm sure there is. We didn't put forth any recommendations because we didn't want to be involved in anything like that. We also have some guys that come to us where we're interviewing them and we're getting to know them, and we find things online about their past, which is fine. We get that. It's a past. If it's something that happened 20 years ago, sure. But if it's something along the lines of you sat trial for the murder of your previous spouse, yeah, we're probably not going to take you on then either. Because we have a reputation to uphold as well. Because you have to think about the trust of these women who are joining our database. They trust us that we are also vetting the men and the men that we are putting them on a date with. And because we have so many success stories, even if it doesn't lead to a relationship, they just had a great date with somebody. It's like, wow, he's such a great guy. That spreads way quicker and helps our business way more, right? So we make sure that we vet the clients that we have. So I haven't been in a position where it has been like, oh my gosh, I need a client or anything like that. Thank you, God, angels, universe. So it's more like we are selective in who we choose. So that's how. I don't even run projections.
And compete, okay, so then obviously there's margins in your business, which I won't go into detail about. But in terms of working with introducers, for example, do you have people that come to you and say, look, I can introduce you to some high-value men, some that'll be looking? Do you pay introducer fees? Or is it literally people suggesting people all the time without you needing to worry about that?
Yeah, I have people that just introduce because they want their friend or their business partner to find a partner as well. They don't ask for anything. I've had one girl who joined the team and said, hey, I can introduce you to this amount of men who want this, who want that. We tried it out, but in all honesty, it's more of the men who actually work with us are the ones that come to us. I think it's a harder route when you're doing like a cold outreach, because it is a different price point for people that, let's say they are on Raya or they are on Seeking Arrangements. They're like, why would I pay $65,000? I'm already getting all of these women. So we have to. You don't know what that is?
No. Is that
okay, well, that's good for the person that you're with that you don't know.
The Madison one. Is it like the Madison? It's on Netflix now.
I saw that.
What's it called?
Madison.
Ashley Madison.
No, so Seeking Arrangements, it's more like sugar daddy, sugar baby kind of thing.
Oh, sugar daddies.
Yeah. So you got to put your net worth on there. I think people lie all the time on it. but it's more about seeking arrangements. Hey, this is the financial commitment I can give you. I can give you a holiday. I can buy you a bag. I can buy you shoes. I can give you this amount of salary per month. And then that's how you pair up with people.
In return for what?
I would imagine.
That's prostitution.
Maybe.
How did you put it? So if I agree, so let's just roll that out for a minute. So if I agree to pay you X $1,000 per month, let's say that's the number that we've agreed upon. There's a transaction going on here. So I'm going to get something for my money. So what, I'm going to get a foot massage?
Maybe you're into...
Maybe I'm into meat. I'm not.
Maybe you are. Who knows? I think...
But so I have to agree with that person what I'm going to get in return.
I mean, when I really think about it, every relationship on this planet is transactional, whether it's with money or not. And with those...
Elaborate on that for me.
Yeah. Well, I think about business relationships, right? There's some kind of transaction there. Service, goods for money, right?
Yeah.
Then I think about friendships, right? Whether there's like an emotional exchange, right? That's a transaction, or it could lead into something else. When I think about romantic relationships, right? Romantic relationships, there's that emotional exchange. There's a physical exchange. And even when that continues into, like, let's say, prostitution, which is very transactional, it is money for sex, right? But you think about even romantic relationships, it's emotional for sex. And maybe even sometimes money is involved in that as well. It doesn't have to be direct cash, but there's also rent. There's dinners that you go to. Everything is pretty transactional in this life. And once you start realizing that, you kind of like let your guard down.
Does that make you look at men differently? Does that make you personally look at, yourself in terms of other people that you date? Does it make you... You can't be, based upon what you just said, it would be difficult for you to become a hopeless romantic.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that I'm a very practical, pragmatic human being. I think maybe I'm more practical than most women, maybe because of, the business that I'm in and a lot of the relationships that I see. So, yeah, probably.
Yeah. But, then that's the sad bit, isn't it? That's the sad bit that we all kind of like. The romance is like...
I still love love.
The chase. The chase.
The chase is fun.
The chase and like being in having that person. Someone said to me, what's the most intimate thing you can do with a woman? Okay.
Tell me.
Walk on the beach and hold hands.
Is it?
To me, is one of the most intimate things you can do with a woman. Because I believe that holding someone's hand is you belong together. That's why you're holding hands. And all of the other stuff. And I'm 54. Look, when I was 25 years old, I would have said something completely different for sure. Yeah, completely different. But at the age I'm at now, it's just like, to me, intimacy is that.
For me, intimacy is gazing at somebody. Looking at somebody deeply. Yeah, I think that's more intimate than a sexual act, 1,000%.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Stop looking at me like that.
I can't help it. You put me in a difficult face now. What about a podcast?
Just kidding. We can gaze.
I'm going to be looking at that. Anyway, I have a question for you here. A very important list of questions that I have here now. Talk to me about the EBITDA of your business.
Yeah, right.
So, with the business that you've built, you said how many people per quarter you look after?
Only 5. That's my max.
So that's 20 a year.
Yep.
Okay, and so then there's 7 of you in total matchmaking.
So each matchmaker has different levels of membership that they take on, and they have different levels of people that they take on, how many people they have capacity for. For me, that's what I've set for myself.
So where do you think then at the end of the day, you can't scale your business because there's only so many hours in your day. And if I was trusting you to deal with my needs, okay, and you didn't have the time to do it, then I become a disgruntled customer, and so I understand why you only manage a certain amount of people. So then how do you then scale a business in this area?
Tell me why I launched Maxion.
Tell me about that.
So
it's a great segue into that.
Exactly. So what I realized with the matchmaking was that it was not scalable. And also we're surfacing such like a niche group of people and creating so much love, but only for, like you said, 20 people per year. And I had a client back in 22 who worked in the tech space, and he has super success story. He's now off with soon-to-be wife, mother of his children. And he sat me down maybe 4 months after I introduced him to her. And this is the first person I introduced him to. I want that on the record. It happens the first time sometimes. And he sat me down, and I literally thought that he had broken up with her. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, now I have to find him someone new. I thought they were perfect for one another, blah, blah, blah. Sits me down and he says, this is what I loved about your business, A, B, C, D. He's like, but you are not scalable. Turn that into a tech product. And I'm like, what? Like, I have never, ever entered the tech space in my entire life. So that's what I did, essentially. I just spent like 6 months, like meeting people, learning about the tech space, learning about the funding space, learning about the region here, basically translating what I had done offline, digitizing those services about what people really want, like the whole concierge concept of it, and making people meet in person and kind of like trying to change dating app behaviors. And then we launched Maxion, but for such a way different audience. So this is more accomplished professionals, successful individuals. And because it's tech, you can reach much, much, much more people.
So Tinder?
No, we are elevated. So we're not a dating app. We're a matchmaking app.
Tell me the difference.
So on all the traditional dating apps, right, you sign up, it's free. So there's no kind of screening process. Anybody can create an account. You have bots, you have scammers, all the bits, right? And then you're swiping from like an endless pool of incompatible people. You don't even know if this person is real. You don't even know if what they're putting on their page is real. Are they married? Are they not? Are they a prostitute? Who knows, right? So what's different with Maxion is that you have to apply to be on the platform. We look at your LinkedIn, we looked at your socials, and we basically decide if we think that you are a Maxion member or not. So accomplished professional, successful individual. Once you've been accepted, you have to choose a subscription. That's like another like wall there. And then we actually send you compatible profiles based on what you've completed inside of our app every Sunday. So we'll send you 5 profiles every Sunday. You choose whether it's yes, maybe, pass. From there, once it's a yes, yes on both sides, so a mutual connection, our tech actually plans, books, and confirms the first date. Mm-hmm. So there's no chatting in between. You're not wasting any time.
Oh, so once you go tick yes, there's no getting to know someone. You're going to get to know them on the date.
You get to know them.
Holy macaroni, wow.
So you cut through all of like the chatting, because what I've realized, and also what I hear too, like when you're on a dating app, you're chatting to somebody for weeks. You're building them up in your brain. You're creating this ideal of them rather than actually meeting the real person. Then when you meet them, you're kind of let down, right? And what I've learned with matchmaking and having that experience as a matchmaker is that it's all about meeting in person. Because you can never tell true compatibility from flat profiles. You have to meet them in person. You have to see the energy. And then we gather feedback from those dates. We can plan and book the next one for you. And then the cycle.
So how many subscribers are there, or how many users are there?
Oh my gosh. So we just launched in February. We have over 2,250 applications as of yesterday. And inside the app, we have about 600 people that we've accepted. Because we're like taking people on slowly.
How many men and how many women?
So now we have a split, 50-50.
Okay. So 650 people, you've got thousands of people applying. How much would I have to pay if I wanted to use this service?
So 1 month is 399 dirhams, so $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just over $100 a month.
Yeah, and then 3 months is 1,000 dirham, which is $270.
Okay, so that's...
Exactly.
It's not expensive.
Achievable. Mm-hmm.
It's inexpensive.
It's achievable, but not everybody wants to pay that. So there is that kind of like wall.
No, everybody wants to pay what?
$100, because you have all these other free apps out there. So it's kind of like, it's a different caliber of people that you will see.
But if you're using these other free apps, so I know some of the names. So I've heard of Tinder, Bumble. I've heard of something called Field. No idea what those.
Oh, I know Field, yeah.
Raya, that's the celebrity one.
Yeah, so
one of my colleagues is on Raya.
Okay.
She told me about it. She's like, I'm on Raya. I'm like, what's Raya? She said it's...
Yeah. I always say we're like Raya, except people have real jobs. They're not just models on Instagram.
So how does the Rayas compare with the Bumbles and the Tinders then?
Yeah. So the difference is that we're actually getting you on in-person dates. Like our tech actually plans.
No, how does Raya compare to the Tinders and the Bumbles? Because what's yours called? Maxion.
Maxion.
So Maxion's separate here. We've got Raya here, which is your celebrity one. Over here, we've got all the normal ones. But you're charging $100 there. How much does this Raya one charge?
80.
Okay, so, and this one, Tinders, how much do they charge?
There's free, and then there's also ones you pay like $30 for like a month, something like that.
So there's a business and monetizing that business by getting as many subscribers as they can to pay $30 a month, okay, and keeping those people using that platform for as long as possible. But there's got to be a point where these people use it for long enough where they go, this isn't working for me.
I'll tell you that. So on February 14th of 2024, so this year, there's a class action lawsuit filed against Match Group, who own Tinder, Hinge, what's the other one I have in my head? The League. And the class action lawsuit was basically saying or stating that on those apps, the gender split between men and women is 70-30. So 70% men, 30% women. So what these apps have had to do is actually create bot and scam accounts of women in order to keep the men inside the app. Because the way that they actually make money is through eyeballs inside the app. So basically the whole lawsuit is that they have been gamifying dating instead of actually putting forth and making people want to connect in real life.
Well, they're scamming people.
So that's what the lawsuit is about. And it's interesting because when they talk about the gamification of dating inside these apps, they're basically saying that you are not seen by other users unless you are actually paying for a rose, paying for a like, paying to see people, paying for a boost. So even though they claim to be free, and actually I tested it the other day, and I didn't pay for anything, and I wasn't liked by anybody. And I was like, oh, look at me, of course. I'm like, they're definitely scamming people. But yeah, so interesting. But that's how they're making their money. But the reason why I want to like really break away from being called a dating app is because it does have that reputation of gamifying dating, where us at Maxion is really truly about in-person connection and trying to expedite that process to help you find your partner.
So your business then is a subscription model. Mm-hmm. Your focus is to obviously get as many subscribers as possible. Your subscribers are global.
For Maxion right now, we're actually Dubai-centric.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because all the dates are in Dubai, in-person dates.
Okay.
So they're all in Dubai right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the people that are paying for this service, okay, all nationalities, all religions, all races.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So right now we have the expat connections portal open. We're actually developing the Indian connections portal. Because what I've learned as a matchmaker too is that a lot of people, when they do choose to marry, need to marry within their culture. So, and then after that, we're actually going to localize the product for Muslim marriages. And I can't wait because then we get to enter so many different markets and help more people find love and connection.
So, revenue projections over the course of the next 24, 36 months, fundraising, capital raising, what's the goal of the business? Yeah,
so we closed a pre-seed round, $600,000 US. We just opened up our seed round about 2 weeks ago. So
hold on a minute. Congratulations. You got 600,000 raised. How long ago was that raised?
Q1 is when we closed it.
How many investors?
5.
5 investors, all put an amount of money in. As well done.
Thank you.
That's really good.
It was interesting. It's my first time ever raising. First time ever being in the space. You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about men in the process as well, being a female tech founder. People just want to pull your ear and take you out rather than actually give you money.
Really?
Which is annoying. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I've wasted so much time with people.
Well, hold on a minute. I'll give you some examples. Have you ever heard of a company called Bayut?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so Bayut is owned by EMPG, which is Emerging Markets Property Group. Emerging Market Properties Group has 3 founders. They're 3 brothers, okay? Haider Ali Khan and his 2 brothers. They went on fundraising to over 100 fundraising events. Didn't have a clue what they were doing, okay? over a year, 14 months, didn't have a clue what they were doing until somebody came to them after 14 months and said, somebody told me about you, I might be interested. And that's where they did the first round. But they're a unicorn now. They've raised hundreds of millions and they're experts at it and a great example of what can be achieved. So I don't think just because you're a man or woman, okay, it's actually any easier. I think what you should remember is that you've done a really good job and you've raised 600,000. And you should celebrate the fact that you've nailed that.
You know what? Thank you so much, because I was thinking about this the other day. I actually got myself down a little bit because we are a brand new app, right? We're only 4 months live. And I was looking at the revenue, like, gosh, we're already generating revenue. There are some apps, right? Especially free apps, right? That don't generate any revenue for 7 months, don't turn a profit for like 10 years, right? We're already generating revenue. Our projections show that we're going to break even by summertime. We're going to start turning a profit by Q4. And the other day, I think it was just, a couple of days ago, I was sitting there and I was like, why are we not making 6 figures a month, like US? I was like, why are we not making 6 figures? And I was sitting with my team and they were like, are you a crazy person? They're like, you just launched. Look at the things that we have created. Look how far the tech has come. Look at the path and the trajectory that we have. And I started laughing to myself and I said, you're right, because every overnight success took years. Took years to achieve. And I think I'm just a person, like, I'm so extreme, right? I want to go 0 to 100. I want to go so quickly that it's nice to like sit and reflect and go, wow, look at what I have achieved in this short amount of time. Even with like the raids and like now I'm raising again. And
what value are you raising at for the second raise?
8 million.
Look at you, game girl. 8 million, 5 months in.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's really awesome. You should be super, super pleased with that.
I am. I mean, it's a journey for sure.
Of course.
And it's funny because they say like in pre-seed, because the product isn't built yet, they call that love money, right? People who love the idea. They love you because you're the founder. You haven't even built it yet. They're like,
they're investing in you. That's right. They're investing in you.
Exactly. And now with seed, it's like, this is hard money. They're like, show me numbers. What are you making? What's this? What's your CAC? What's your CPA? What's that? So it's been fun. Obviously, it's difficult, but it's like kind of this transition now. I'm like, okay, shit, I really am a founder and a CEO now. I got to put up numbers. I have to talk about this. I talk about projections. I have to do this. So it's fun. I always say pressure is a privilege whenever I feel overwhelmed. Like, pressure is a privilege. Like, look at me. Like, my dad always laughs at me when I tell him, I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much work. And he said, aren't you lucky? Yeah. Aren't you lucky to have all of this pressure and all of this work and all these people you have to pay? He's like, aren't you lucky? And I'm like, you're right, Dad.
Good point. Tell me just a little bit about you, because I want to know where you get your drive and your motivation. You're here, you're bubbly, you're energetic, you're enthusiastic. I'm sure it's not like that all the time, but where does this desire come from?
When people tell me no, or people haven't believed in me in the past. People think, oh, you're just a cute little girl. Oh, she's just a little girl. I'm like, oh, okay. This little girl is going to prove you wrong. I feel like I've been underestimated a lot in my life. And
Take me back to that. Take me back to where that was triggered for you in the early days. What happened to make you feel that?
No, I'm kidding. I will say that my whole life, I feel like I've lived 8 different lives. Like, I started as an athlete, went into finance and education, now matchmaking, now tech founder. But the real drive came from when I was younger. I felt like my mom raised me to marry rich. She was like, you're going to marry rich. And I was like, oh, okay. So even when I studied finance at school, I went to a top school, studied finance. I remember I did an internship with Merrill Lynch. And I literally did that internship. It was super hard for me because I never studied at school. I just showed up for the test, cheated off somebody, and then got a degree. But anyway, I did the internship, and I literally thought to myself, I was like, I'm not going to go into finance, but my husband will be in finance. And that's the kind of life I kind of set out for myself. So every boyfriend I had after that worked in finance. The guy who brought me from New York to the UAE worked in finance.
Really good.
And he and I split. And he never directly said this to me because I don't want to dog him. I think he's an amazing person. We just weren't the right fit for one another. I do believe that he was the vehicle that brought me from New York to the UAE, because I would have never, ever left New York. My whole life was in New York. My whole family was there. But he kind of made me feel after we split that I would never achieve anything without him. And I kind of used that, and that fueled me. I should climb the ladder really quickly in like a corporate education world, became a published author, national teacher trainer, leader in a school. And I thought that that was going to be my path. I was like, this is where I'm going to make my riches as a published author. And then everything kind of steered, and now we're here today. But I'm a person who's extremely motivated by status, and I know that I'm going to be a billionaire. It's already written in the stars. So with that and all those people who maybe thought I couldn't do it or who had knocked me down before, I can't wait to be on that Forbes list and then just send it to everybody.
And who are those people apart from him that knocked you down before?
Many people. I think that people have this perception of who I am because maybe they either see me online, they see my LinkedIn persona, they see my Instagram persona, they see me in like a public setting, and I'm bubbly, I'm this. Sometimes I'm harsh on Instagram, but that's for another day. But
it's not. I'm going to ask you about it in a minute.
Fine. But I think that a lot of people have a perception of me that I'm just like playing with numbers, playing with money. Oh yeah, I just like to do this because I love love, but they don't see the behind the scenes. They don't see me as CEO. They don't see me as building. They don't see me fundraising. They don't see me pitching in front of people, and they don't see me talking to big names. And I get this a lot where people meet me who are in like top positions and they say, you're way different than I assumed you were going to be. And I kind of like that, though. I'm like, good. I like to surprise people.
Who believes in you?
Me. Number one person, me. My dad. My dad has been my number one support. He is the person that keeps my head on straight. Lives with me half the year. Makes me my breakfast. He's my dog walker, my driver, my golf coach. He's everything to me.
And is he your hero?
Is he? Yeah, I would say so. I look at him and the life that he's built, but mainly based on the relationships that he's built. Like all of his friends look up to him. When he did work in corporate, right? Everybody went to him like as their mentor. The way he treats my mother, the way that he raised us. Like I just think that he is the ultimate man, person, universe.
It's beautiful. Okay.
I'm sure your daughters say the same.
Right. Let's so couple of things before we go. Let's give some people some tips. Okay. Let's just go back to it before we go. Okay. So we'll do 3 tips in 3 completely different areas. Okay. So 3 tips you can give somebody, okay, who wants to raise money for their business.
No. Sorry, do it again. No also means yes. Just because somebody says no to you, like don't let that get you down. Number 1, right? Number 2, no is also yes because a closed door allows you to open a new door. And it gives you direction, right? I hate when you're fundraising and people are just dragging it along. You're like, dude, you're either in it or you're not. All of the money that I have raised, they have made a decision within a week or a day. Yes, we're going to do it. Money sent. It's kind of like dating. I say fundraising is like dating. And a man is quick to claim his woman. So think about it that way. If they're quick to make a decision, they want you. Somebody who drags it out, I mean, this does not include due diligence, obviously. But somebody who drags it out, just let them go. Consider that a no. Get an answer. And then just have an unwavering belief in yourself, but obviously not completely delusional. You need to have the numbers to back it up. But once you do, don't let somebody else's no knock you down.
Okay, good advice. Okay, last one. 3 tips you can give men that want to find love.
Oh, hire me. That's the only tip I can give people. No, I would say this, right? It's important for, like, as a man, think about, especially if you're a person who wants to build a family.
Yeah.
Right? What do you value? What do you value in yourself? Take a look back in your past. Take a look at what you want your future to look like. What kind of values do you want your partner to hold that is going to be good for you and your family? Be very clear in the alignment that you want with a partner. be very open and communicative about that, because that is only going to lead you to success. Do not hide if you don't want to get married. Do not hide if you don't want to have children. That other person needs to know that. And in order to have compatibility and a long-term relationship, you must have that transparency and alignment with that person.
Values.
What do you value?
Do you know what? The values to me, as I've got older, I realise what they are. And I think that in the early stages of a relationship, values go out the window. I think in the beginning,
it's just love.
It's absolutely. I think for most people it is. It's just then you get seduced by the romance and the story and what it could be, and then you don't stop and go, oh, he really doesn't like fine dining, and I really love fine dining. Wherever we're going to go for dinner, he really doesn't. It's like people don't see that at first, and then after a while, it's just like, well, no, actually, I care about this. This is what matters to me. It matters to me helping these children in Bangladesh. That happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but it matters to me buying Birkin bags. And it's kind of like, yeah, but... And there's no one's wrong. Mm-hmm. They're just different.
Okay, so I don't believe that two people should be carbon copies of one another in order to have a successful relationship. I do think, though, exactly what you're talking about in terms of lifestyle. You need to have alignment in lifestyle, or else it's going to be very hard to have a frictionless kind of marriage. And like all of the goals that you want to have, that they need to align with one another, or else you're going to have
I agree. Aligning lifestyle, absolutely. But to me, it's like these questions aren't openly discussed at the beginning. They're not for most people openly discussed. People think, I don't care who you are. How does it work? You meet someone, you go on a first date. You sat there, you've got a glass of champagne in your hand and whatnot. She's dressed all amazingly and wonderfully. You've got your best blooming jacket and trousers on or whatever it may be. You've got your cologne on and you're like feeling good. Okay. You don't sit down and say, let's have an interesting practical conversation, shall we? Before we get to know each other. Not even on the fourth date, because you're still in the blooming bedroom or wherever it is you may be. It's on the 10th date. You're still there. It's like, those things, oh, you're perfect for me and I'm perfect for you, and it's just perfect in so many ways. Proof of that is not my opinion, is that 56% of people get divorced.
Okay, so I think what's important, so on a first date, it is just a vibe check, right? Can you have a conversation?
Vibe chat. See, vibe chat. I don't know these terms. I want these terms. It's a vibe chat.
Well, it's like, can you have a conversation with them? Is the conversation flowing? I don't think you need to go so deep on a first date, especially if you're a person who's dating, and dating is a numbers game. As a woman too, like you give a lot of energy when you go on dates, men as well, right? So it's not about getting so deep on a first date, but after that first date, you leave and go, am I curious to get to know this person again? Great. If you are, the other person is as well, go on a second date. On that second date, that's when you can start learning about, their past, not past relationships, because I don't think any past relationship is any indicator of how they're going to be in any future relationship. That's my personal opinion. But learn about how they grew up, where they grew up. Where do you usually holiday? This is where lifestyle comes into play, right? And then that's when, even on third dates, right, that's when you can start getting into like, what are you looking for? Like, what are you open to? And I think that these conversations do need to be had in the beginning. Of course, there's a lot of lust fog that's like kind of intertwined in that. But if you are a person who is serious about monogamy or having that partnership with somebody, then you're probably looking at dating differently than other people. So you do want to have those questions answered. But it's also important to know that people can talk. Look at their actions, observe how they act, what they do, how they're treating you beyond what they're just talking about.
There's a guy I know that was on one of these sites, and he went on a date in Los Angeles. I think he was in New York, and he flew to LA to go and have dinner with this girl. Mm-hmm. And he had dinner with her, and they were eating their main course. And she said, I just need to make this clear before we go any further. Okay, I am looking to get married, and I do want 2 kids. Okay, and if that is not on your agenda, we'll have a nice dinner, but that'll be the last time I see you.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, and he told me about it. I'm like, what do you do with something like that? That's a little bit
what did he do?
They got married and had kids.
You see? Okay.
That's what happened. They're here.
There you go. One of our matchmakers on our team she is now married with 2 sets of twin boys, okay? She had moved from Canada down to the US because she said, my number one goal is to be a mother, have a marriage, start a family. That's what I want to do. She needed to leave the city that she was in because it was too small for her, move down to the US. And she said on her first date with her now husband, he said, I want to have 4 children and I want to get married within the year. And she was like, here we go. This is where it comes from, alignment and timing in life, right? Is this the person for you? Because I believe, gosh, I've been in love so many times, right? But the timing and alignment was off. I'm sure that in the future, if I ever meet those people again and the timing and alignment is right, we can make it happen. But if it's not right with that person in that moment, it won't.
That's important. A plumber always has a leak. An electrician always has a fuse go. And a car mechanic always has a broken down car. Does a matchmaker... I'm nervous. Does a matchmaker never have a good relationship?
I love relationships. I love
So tell me about your long-term relationship that you've been in. Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask me this. I told you.
So are you dating right now?
Yes, I am, Spencer.
And so is anyone special?
Many men are special to me. They're all special in their own way.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it okay to date more than one man at a time, do you think?
Of course. And it's okay to date more than one woman at a time.
It is it?
Yeah, I think that each person provides or fills part of my different love tanks.
Love tanks? I love this terminology. My different love tanks.
Well, yeah, like you can think about it this way, right? You have an emotional love tank, intellectual love tank, physical love tank. I also think about like intellectual, like I put that into like, does he stimulate me? Is he a mentor? Is he somebody I can go to for like business advice? We can riff on business, things like that. Emotional is obviously like support. Physical is obviously, won't get into it, physical. But with that, right, I think that each of these men that I'm seeing fills a different part of those tanks. And until I am with somebody that is able to not fill 100%, because I don't think you can expect that in somebody, but to fill all of them, then yeah, of course it's okay to date multiple people.
Christiana, it's been fantastic chatting to you. Thank you for bringing your energy to the session today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Spencer.